So, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin with a very good question. Why do we love going to a DGR every year? Yes, I know it is for a good cause and so on. But what is the real reason of wanting to participate? And the answer is, if you want to see beautiful, ugly, interesting, rare, different, unique, vulgar, or original motorcycles, the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride is definitely the right place where you'll want to be. And you can see all this with tons of very well-dressed ladies, gentlemen, and sometimes dogs. Welcome to Racer TV. So, this year, my ride companions were Marco, with his extremely reliable Ducati Monster, and Fernando, who decided to leave his Yamaha XS at home, due to a small problem with the rear light. Contrary to some rain predictions on the previous day, the weather in the city of Oporto was excellent.
Yeah.
For the first time in a DGR, I never saw so many machines at the meeting point.
Yeah. Viva. Yeah.
Very impressive to see so many people when I arrived just 5 minutes after the scheduled time. To be honest, I think most people got the time wrong and came at the same time as in previous years. In other words, they probably came 1 hour earlier. From my perspective, this was not very good for me, because I like to shoot the machine's arrival. It is like sort of a preview of what I should explore during the day. And so I had to wear out the soles of my shoes, looking for the lost pearls among so many motorcycles. But here is an interesting thought. Have you ever noticed that there are certain bike brands that seem to have an attraction between them? I'm sure you've noticed this too. Especially with Vespas. It looks like the force is with them. Especially with this one. What a lovely customization. I was wondering if the engine was still stock. And a few minutes later, my question was answered loud and clear. As you heard, the engine is as stock as any of the Fast and Furious cars. The only thing the Vespa doesn't have is a reverse gear, like this one. And also a side seat for this co-pilot. I also noticed that this year, the segment of the old and classic Moto Rizadas was very competitive. Here in Portugal, Moto Rizadas is sort of a nickname for small displacement motorcycles with a 50cc engine, which were very popular until the late 90s. But there was one that captured a lot of attention. I was very intrigued, trying to identify this awkward frame structure. After some research, I found it is based on this Casal 125. A very rare Portuguese motorcycle I've never heard about. I have to recognize, this project looks very interesting. Especially because of the very unusual stance. And here is another surprising project. If I ask you what bike model you just saw, you will probably say, it is an old classic R series model. Are you sure? Believe it or not, this BMW is only 10 years old. I was so surprised as you are when the owner told me the project started with this version. Interestingly, I didn't recognize the owner at first, who is also the builder. I am referring to Ricardo Santos from Elemental Rides. You may remember him from some of these projects. But this is a very surprising approach for sure, with a certain retro-futuristic flavor. Especially on this beautiful headlight inside the fairing. So, and what about the ladies? I managed to capture some on camera, but only a few. And by doing so, I also saw their biggest obstacle for a daily usage. It's always hard parking a motorcycle when your feet don't have a good support on the ground. Is there any solution for this problem? Let's just say, there is always someone taller around. Speaking of ladies, here is one of the bikes most feared by women. For those who don't know, this Yamaha is usually a very good candidate for the Widowmaker segment. There were some other classic and rare machines. Some of them were customized, like this Yamaha XS 850. According to the owner, who is also a fan of the channel, the seat is not as he intended. Basically, the seat foam was glued upside down. But while I was working on this script, I found the perfect seat for this Yamaha. This Triumph certainly has an excellent solution for a custom double seat. Notice how it allows to maintain the frame structure untouched, without needing a too long seat. Essentially, this seat is the generic solution, and this is the perfect and very well thought one. I really think it might work beautifully on this Yamaha. And now, let's see the loudest bike of the day. This is the engine sound when it's parked. And this, when riding on the street. No wonder it was located so far from the entrance. While I was still looking for the interesting stuff, the starting engines moment had suddenly began.
What?
As you just saw, unlike all previous gentlemen's rides, I think this beginning was the most fast and efficient of all. As usual, this section near the sea is always a bit windy, but the temperature was spot on. Something around 22 degrees Celsius. Basically, it was a perfect day to ride a motorcycle. Especially the old ones, without a cooling radiator.
Yeah. Sim? Obrigado, obrigado.
One of the things I noticed during the entire ride, my feet only touched the ground once. Other than that, the speed average was excellent. There were around 400 motorcycles on this ride. And how do I know this number? Well, doing my homework, and counting them one by one, with the help of my videos and photographs. This also explains the confusion at the destination point, in front of Oporto's City Hall. It was naturally slow, but perfectly acceptable and predictable. Curiously, it was very easy to find a parking space.
Oh. Tá bom. Obrigado.
While most people were preparing themselves for the group photo, I took the opportunity to find some more interesting bikes. I must say that this Triumph Thruxton looks spot on. The rounded shapes, the colors, materials combination, and this half fairing. Much more beautiful than when seen on photographs. And here is the most awkward fuel tank I found. This is what I call an out-of-the-box idea, which can be genius, crazy, and bold at the same time. I initially thought these covers could be sort of a custom 3D printed job. But for my surprise, I found they are just the stock protections, located underneath the plastic fuel tank covers. This design may look weird, but at the same time, there is a certain beauty in these busy lines. Speaking of busy, the stairs weren't big enough to accommodate so many people. Probably twice as many people compared to last year. I have to congratulate Ton Up Garage and the organization for making this DGR possible. As usual, they did a good job. The only thing I missed compared with the previous year was the Beveridge Little House. And so I decided to finish the ride earlier, by enjoying the rest of the day, and return home. But just like usual, fully loaded with very nice moments, which surely made this stay listed on the best memories section. Thank you for watching Racer TV. And as always,
Amar, tenta tirar aí uma selfie.
I hope to see you on the next video.